Hello, 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 and welcome to the Rumble and Roar podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm your host, Lenoria, and this is my host,
Shayna.
my co-host, Shayna. Everybody know who Shayna is?
Either way.
Yes. So we're going to dive right in. Shayna, we're going to talk about, I think this is a good one.
This is a very good topic.
Step parents.
Oh.
Step parents. What do you know about being a step parent, or did you have step parents?
I didn't have step parents. My parents were together.
Okay, mother and father. Okay.
But in my last relationship, he already had a son when I met him, and it's very hard because he's not really a disciplinarian because he's only. I can't say he's only a father sometimes. He's a father all the time, but he would only get the kid every other weekend. So for you to get the kid every other weekend, it's like, it's fun time at dad's house. That's all they know. So to try to discipline them is different. But I would bring my kid on.
So you were a step parent at one time?
Well, we weren't
kind of
married.
Sorta?
Yeah, we weren't married. We were dating.
Okay.
So I would be there, but it's like he's the fun dad. So when I come to dad's house, it's fun. It's I get to do the stuff that I can't do at home at my dad's house.
You didn't like that?
I didn't like it because so when we were together, I had a kid of my own. So I would bring my kid over there. My kid know how to act accordingly. Your kid do what they want to do, and that's just not how it goes. So it made me the bad person, because I'm like, hey, you know how moms do that.
Guys, in case you missed it, she was like, you better get your asses to
Hey, exactly, because moms can do that. Moms be like, you better shut the hell up. Like, we can just give a face, and kids be like, oh shit, all right, she not playing. So when I did that to him, I didn't want him to go back home and be like, Mom, first of all, he used to call me Miss Shayna. And I told him, I was like, listen, please don't call me Miss Shayna. Like, you could just call me Shayna. Like, it's fine.
Oh, okay, because I was about to say, what did you want him to call you?
No, you can just call me Shayna.
Okay,
just call me Shayna. It's fine. And throughout the years, I had conversations with him because there were certain things that were happening at his house that his dad didn't like. And so I would talk to him about that stuff too. Like, just like, okay, so he had a stepdad. His mom got married. He had a stepdad, and his stepdad wanted him to call him dad when his dad is active in his life. And that's not fair.
Now that's not right.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yeah.
Was he living with them?
Well, he lived with his mom, and his mom got married.
Okay.
So
but that's still no.
Yeah.
No.
So when he would come to his dad's, his dad would be like, "Oh, who bought you that?" He'd be like, "Oh, my dad," and he would catch himself.
Now, why would you put the daggone child through that?
Exactly.
No, but see, the fathers should have talked.
Oh,
the biological fathers should have been like, "Bruh, man, let me talk to you." First of all, I don't care if you screwing my ex, married to her mama, whoever. That's my son. I am alive. I am active. You have no right to be telling him to call you dad. Right. He has a dad.
In a perfect world.
And that's just my opinion. It don't have to be.
And that's in a perfect world. In a perfect world, we as women would love for men to talk, or I'm sure you men would love for the same thing between women. But here's the problem. The problem is how you guys leave your previous relationships. Because if you left your previous relationship in a state to where everybody is cool, we're cordial, it should not be a problem for me to meet your significant other.
Right.
But if we didn't, and somebody's still holding feelings, then there is going to be a problem. But what you guys have to determine as adults is, when does the problem not become a problem anymore between adults, and it becomes more about the children? This is what people be missing. It's no longer about the children.
Mm-hmm.
It's about, oh, I don't like him because XYZ. I don't like her because she took my man. Whatever the case is,
Mm-hmm.
y'all gotta look at the bigger picture. Y'all gotta grow the fuck up. That's the problem.
You know, I've never been a stepmom, so I don't really know, but I'm reading stuff about it. But I'm just gonna speak for what I believe. Now, my dad, my biological father died years ago when I was 17 or 18. I was a teenager. But the only father I know is the father that I talk about you guys all the time. And he and my mother got together when I was 2 weeks old. So I know nobody but him. That is my dad. And of course, he was my stepdad, but he was my dad. I mean, you can call it whatever you want, but that was my dad. My dad was dead at 18. But when I tell you, there are a lot of things I want to ask Shayna and you guys. What do you think is appropriate? And I'm going to tell you the things that went on with my dad. To me, was everything. He was not a stepfather to me. He was my dad. And do you feel that a stepfather have the right to discipline your child?
I think it depends on the situation, honestly, because you can expect for another person to be a part of your child's life and not to be a disciplinarian. So when we say discipline, are we talking about put them on punishment? Are we talking about giving them a whooping? Like, what are we talking about? Because
in every aspect of the word, because he is in your home, your life. You are doing everything for this child. You know, your father is coming, the biological father is coming by every now and again and saying, here's some Pampers. Here is some $300 or $400, or not even that much, $200, and bye-bye. But you are there teaching that boy how to grow, teaching that boy how to handle this world, and teaching them, manly things. You are putting in your work as a real father, giving that boy the attention and the love and everything he needs. So I ask you, do you think that a stepfather should be able to discipline a child?
Okay. So let me say this.
I do.
Let me start with, okay, so my daughter is 17.
And it depends on the age. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my daughter is 17. Her dad passed away when she was 2, going on 3. My son is 5. He'll be 6 in November, so my son's 5.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to his dad's house every other weekend. And that's fine for his dad. That's what his dad set up. I didn't set that up. Listen, you can see your son whenever you want to see your son. My son asked to see his dad every day. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And
he's in the same town.
He's in the same.
Gotcha.
We're within 30 minutes of each other. And I've given you a choice. You have free reign. And that's very different from the situation when he was with his previous son's mom. Okay? So I have not put any restrictions on what he can do with his son. Listen, if your son calls you and say, Dad, I want to come to your house, it should not be a problem. It should be, I'm on my way to come get you.
Yeah.
That's not the case. Okay? So, again, my son sees his biological dad every other weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So right now, I'm in a long-term or long-distance relationship, not long-term, hopefully.
Yeah, I know, right? Long-term and long-distance.
Yes.
Okay.
So, my boyfriend is not there physically, but my son talks to him every day.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a great relationship. They've never met. They have never met. He's never met any of my kids. But that's just a thing with me. But I've made sure they built a relationship with him, so it's not weird when they do meet.
Right. He's gonna already know him, and they FaceTime.
My kids, yes.
Okay.
My kids love him. They say I love you to him. Like
the older one too.
Yes.
Oh, that's so good.
Jayla calls him And like I'll call him and be like, oh, I was on the other line with Jayla and I was talking to her about something that was happening at school. Like I was a little jealous, you know. So okay, so my kids love him. But again, I don't think that it's weird for him to discipline them. Like if he sees they're doing something wrong, he like, listen, you're gonna be on punishment, you know, for whatever. I'm gonna back that 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a back you.
What about spankings?
I think that clearly my older kid is beyond spanking. I think that with the younger one, no. I'm not. I was gonna say I'm not completely opposed to it, but I am.
But
I'm saying no.
see, the reason I agree with that is because your younger one is still old enough to know you're not my dad, and exactly. I know my dad, and why are you disciplining me when my dad tells me different things? Now, if y'all are together, if he does something wrong, he should come to you and say, look, he's not listening or whatever. But I get it.
But there are certain things that his dad tells him that I don't agree with.
Okay. And
that my boyfriend doesn't agree with. So at that point, again, I don't agree that he should discipline my child.
What if, like in my case, I was 2 weeks old. I mean, fresh out the stomach. Mm-hmm. And all I know is my dad.
Right. So that's your dad.
Okay, that's my dad. But you know what? My dad has never, ever, ever disciplined. No, I'm not going to say discipline. He'll tell you what, that's still discipline. Tell me what
right.
to do. My dad, I don't even remember my dad ever doing this.
My dad has never done that either. But, and, you know, I have a lot of brothers and sisters.
My dad beat his ass. He would beat the boys, but the girls, no, he left it up to my mom to do. But I know that flipped over to something else.
No, it's the same thing because my mom, like my dad had this cowboy belt. And like when my brothers, like, when I tell y'all this cowboy belt was thick as shit, like, when he'd be like, go get the cowboy belt, I was like, damn, y'all finna get a whole ass whooping. But he used to beat my brothers like it was no tomorrow. But the girls, my dad was like, yeah, nah, y'all just not gonna get a whooping unless it's your mama. Like, so. And
the mothers would tear that ass out the frame.
Man, I never experienced a whooping from my dad. Even, like you said, even just a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, me either. Yeah.
And I don't expect that from my boyfriend to my son. I would expect for you to treat him as if he's your son and give him the game as if he's your son.
Right.
If he needs to be disciplined in that way, I feel like in a perfect world, I would love for my baby daddy and my boyfriend to have a conversation. A civil conversation. I definitely don't think that that's what's going to happen because...
But see, why not?
Well, I don't think that that's going to happen because of things that have taken place that my baby daddy has done.
Oh, gotcha.
And so because the things that he's done have been disrespectful to my boyfriend.
Gotcha. Okay. Because I was going to say, what I don't understand is why is it that they can't talk or do whatever? You move on, I move on. Hopefully you got your lady, I have my man. Let's do this for the sake of the children to do the right thing.
Not the case. It's usually an issue of somebody hasn't moved on and they don't want you to move on either. And they're expecting for you to be on the same type of time that they're on. And I'm not on that type of time.
I don't want to get on it.
No. See, here's the thing in my relationship. My son was born in November 2017. We probably broke up in May of 2017. You know?
Been going a while.
It's a long time. So I'm confused as to why 6 years later almost, you're still trying to pursue me. At this point, I'm telling you, I've been in a relationship for almost 3 years. So is that not disrespectful? So you're disrespecting my man at this point.
Well, Shayna, just my opinion. Disrespectful is when he's saying things that are disrespectful.
Like what?
Like, I want to get with you. That's disrespectful. You know I'm in a relationship, and you're calling saying, "Oh, I want to get with you," and I want to.
That's the disrespect. It's first of all, you was here on Valentine's Day. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. You was here on Valentine's Day. It's disrespectful
Today,
at this point.
guys, at this moment, not the whole day, but just this little segment. My name is Wes. Ain't in this mess.
She is, because guess what she did? She called me bright and early like,
oh my gosh, we are not using this.
it's disrespectful, and I have expressed that it's disrespectful, but you continue. So now you're opening it up to that. Anyway,
your boyfriend has to be the bigger one, and just know that, hey, no matter what you keep doing, how you keep trying, you're mine, and we're just gonna be okay with it. You can keep trying and doing stuff, and it's still not gonna work. So just knock yourself out. Now, it is disrespectful to another man where you're trying to do all of this stuff to his woman.
Exactly.
I know, but
because I even posed the question listen, how would you feel if you had a girlfriend and or how would your girlfriend feel if I'm continuously sending you stuff, like buying you gifts and sending stuff like, oh, I want to do this and X, Y, Z to you? Like, that is disrespectful. So,
but you just don't say anything.
I don't.
Ignore him and don't tell.
Ignore
him and then don't tell your man, because that'll keep the peace. Because what your man don't know he's doing it. But if you go and tell him,
when you're with this person, you're with your man, and this whole long ass weird ass text come up on your phone, like it is. Like that's
clear, delete, or do whatever, but you gotta keep
now you're hiding stuff. Yep, now you're hiding stuff.
He don't need to know what's on your phone. That's your phone.
Now you're hiding stuff, and that's crazy.
But
because once it comes to that point, and you checked it so many times yourself, your man gonna have to go ahead and check that. Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Okay.
What makes a step parent, or what makes a parent a step parent instead of a real parent? Because like you said, your stepdad has been your dad since you was 2 weeks old.
Right. So well, what makes a step parent a real? Let's read it again. Read it again.
What makes a parent a step parent instead of a real parent?
Okay, because that's what the shit say that it's supposed to be. The shit said that the title is supposed to be step parent because it wasn't biological. Your mother and father's their sperm was not together. It's not your child, so that makes you a stepfather if your sperm was not in that baby's body. I know this sounds crazy, and I need to say it the right way.
You know, you have two females that go and get sperm and they have a baby.
Right.
So only one of them is the parent.
No. But what I'm trying to say is that in Google and everything else sees a step parent as a person that, as a matter of fact, let me stop damn trying. And but see, this is my opinion, so it's not what Google says or the facts. My opinion, a step parent is a parent that steps in to be a parent when your anus is not.
You are being a parent. So
you've been a step parent. You're stepping in when the other parent is not there. That makes you a step parent. So that's it might not be the real definition of it, but that's what I'm thinking, Shayna.
Well, let me tell you where I'm coming from, because I have a lot of half brothers and sisters by my dad. So if I say to somebody, "Oh, that's my half sister, that's my half brother," people get offended by that. They're like, "No, that's your brother, that's your sister." And to me, it's like, okay, that's my half brother, that's my half sister.
But it's up to.
But it's the same thing with step parents.
To each his own. If you want to take it as, oh no, I'm your sister, I'm your brother. Okay, yeah, but you're half. You're my dad's child. My mother is not your mom, so we're half. But we are sisters and brothers. But what it says is you're half when your mother and father is not the same.
Right.
So don't play, don't act, don't get mixed up, don't be getting mad because I call you a step or a half. A stepfather steps in when the father is not there. A daggone half sibling is you don't have the same mother as I have, or you don't have the same father. However, this is what I feel though. If you have the same mother, and it's just me, the way I feel. If you don't have the same father, you're step or you're half. But if you have the same mother, you can have like me and you, our mother's the same. But you got a different dad and I have a different dad. But we're still sisters. You know why? Because we came out the same mother. I know, but this is just how I look at it. I might be messed up and looking at it wrong, guys, but that's just me. So
I understand. So there's definitely a different interpretation to everybody.
So you don't think so? If you came from the same mother?
No, I would more so think so if you came from the same dad, because that's where
that's your step. That's your half. I mean,
no, that's your brother and sister, because that's where the blood and the
well, I know that genetically, yes.
Yeah.
I'm talking about they're going real.
Yeah,
On the real.
And you came along,
and mother raised us.
And I'm not gonna lie, I agree with you, because
mother raised us, and we know each other.
Kids. I was the third, so my two older brothers, those are my brothers. Because they have different dads, but those are my brothers. But
because they came from your mother.
I have brothers and sisters on my dad's side that are older than me, and they're still my half brothers and sisters. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's right. But that's how we think, and it is what it is. Listen, because I'm almost 40 years old, and that's how I live my life. It is what it is. You're my half brother, you're my half sister.
Right.
But if I was to say, if anybody asked me, I'm like, oh, that's my brother, that's my sister.
Right.
Like
right.
It's never been that's my half brother, that's my half. I've
right.
never done that.
Right.
But in reality, if I were to split them up, the kids that were birthed by my mom, I would never say those are my half brothers.
Half nothing.
So that's true. I agree with you.
Half nothing. You came out the same way I came out. So we're whole, even if we are half. But that's just how I look at it. Doesn't mean.
So, how do you feel about a kid calling their step parent mom or dad, being that your stepdad has been your dad?
It depends on the age, Shayna. The age. Now, me being 2 weeks old, I don't know nobody but.
Right.
Okay, that is my dad.
Okay.
I would look like a fool calling him anything other than, because I don't know you're my dad. Now, if you got with someone and your child was already 17 years old.
Me.
Okay, or 15 or 5 or whatever, and they know their parents, their biological father. You could ask them how do they feel about it, and ask the man how do they feel. If both people feel comfortable with them calling them dad, then it should be nothing. But to just tell them, okay, we're together now, we're getting married such and such day, or whatever the case may be, or we ain't even got to get married.
Call his person dad.
Yeah, you don't say call him dad now.
Yeah.
No, that's not even right.
That's
on
so
every
weird.
level of having children and anything else. You don't tell your children to call another man dad and they're 17 or even 5. They know dad. So why are you doing that to them?
Yeah.
And now if they choose to do it, and the person is okay with it, because he might not be okay with it. It's like, look, I'm not trying. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to be here with your mom. We down and all of that. But you don't need to be calling me dad. I got children with somebody else and you are with somebody else. But yes, I am here to be a father figure. But you can call me, I don't know.
First of all, don't let them call you uncle nothing. That
uncle bullshit.
I
Who said that?
Stand that. People do that all the time. Like, oh, call me uncle.
So you're screwing your uncle.
What?
So he see mommy and uncle in there screwing. That's some crazy
weird
stuff. No, call me by my name. You can just say, hey, Johnny, Mr. John, or not even Mr. John. Hey, John, or whatever. But no, That's how I feel about it.
My kids call my boyfriend by his name, but they really have a good relationship with him. They will not call him dad because, my daughter's almost grown, so I don't expect her to call him dad. My son has a dad.
And he has a relationship with his dad.
Exactly.
And he knows his dad.
Exactly.
And his dad is active.
So that's why it was so weird to me that his other son's mom was doing that, like, oh yeah, this your dad, or call him dad, like as if his dad wasn't there. That was so weird to me because
she got somebody else calling
her husband. She got married, And so it was one time when he came over and his actual dad was like, "Oh, who got your dad?" He'd be like, "Oh, my dad," and he caught himself. And I'm like, he was at this time he was like 5 or 6. Like he should not be having to do that.
They're messing that child up. Just got
well,
him
now he's older,
he's
so
in the
he
middle.
understands. But at
middle.
that point in time, he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just susceptible to what somebody was teaching him. But that's not fair. I would never do that to my kids. Like, even when my daughter's dad was alive, like, okay, even when my daughter's dad was alive, I wouldn't have done that. That's your dad. Y'all do what y'all do, whatever.
Right.
But my son's dad, he is an active part of his life, and I would never take that away from him. Despite, I don't care what we went, I will never take that away from that man. Like, that is your son.
That's not right.
And it is what it is. But, people do that.
Okay, which parent is more likely to abuse? Step parent.
I don't necessarily, I mean, according to my experience, I don't think that a step parent is more likely to abuse to me, because the real parent is already more comfortable with it if that's what they're doing. I think if a step parent is abusing a kid, it's because they've seen it from their parent.
Well, Google says mothers are more likely than fathers.
Stepmothers or just regular, like their actual biological mother?
Okay, it says mothers.
Okay,
so it can go both ways, but it says mothers are more likely than fathers to be responsible for physical abuse.
Well, let's look at that too, because we just spoke on our fathers did not lay hands on us. Mm-hmm. Our mothers did. So if that's what we're talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, then now we see why.
Like,
right. Okay.
Tell our ass up. She didn't like beat us, but it wasn't like no Ikatina. But if you need a whooping, I mean, well, our generations was whoopings. We got whoopings. But guess what?
Isn't that something?
Our kids wasn't out here doing the shit y'all kids doing.
Girl.
I just want to say.
Do you think being a parent is harder than being a step parent?
Mm-mm.
You think step parent is harder?
I think step parent is way harder, because step parents are coming into your situation. They're trying to adapt to whatever you already have going on. You already have you're running your whole household. You're running your household how you want it to be run. So your kids are used to that. So when you bring somebody else into it, let's say, you're a mom, you bring in a stepdad. The stepdad has to get used to what you got, like you guys' schedule. They have to get used to how you as a mom discipline your kids, because they can't say, "Oh, your mom said this, but I'm saying this," because guess what the kid's gonna say?
Well, my mom said I don't have to do that, and you ain't my mom. Not you're not my mom. You ain't my mama. You ain't my daddy.
Real quick,
yeah.
Kids. So, and even now, kids be like, "Oh, you can't spank me," because they feel like, yeah, I can call.
I'll call the police.
Exactly.
Don't put your hands on me.
When we was kids, we had no choice. You finna get an ass whooping.
When I was a child, you got it where you did it.
You finna get an ass whooping.
No, I remember on one podcast you were asking me when I was telling you my sister told me to come on up here. Yeah, and you said, did she wait till you get home? I said, no, ma'am. Back in the day, you got where you did it. Mm. They didn't wait back home. What is that wait until you get home bullshit? That's for right now. No, you did something right then. You got it right then. And I think that was, at the time when it was happening, you think it was just y'all out of this world. But it was so good. That kind of stuff is good and needed today, but I don't want to get off topic.
I mean, that is on topic. That's what it is, because it is harder for step parents, because they're like walking on eggshells. They're like, can I say this, or should I talk to their mom first? Mm-hmm. Or because if something is happening in a moment, let's say a man, like a stepdad and a teenage son. Mm-hmm. We know teenage sons be
on some other shit,
and they be needing real grown men advice. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So for for him to have to stop and say, oh, let me call her first and clear it with her first, I feel like there are certain times where you as a man should be able to come to my son and give him the business, not putting your hands on him, but
Right.
give him sound
Teach
advice.
him, yeah.
Yeah, and you don't have to
Like
clear
Baby
that with
Boy.
me.
You saw that movie?
Yes.
Baby Boy.
Now he put his hands on Baby Boy. I ain't gonna say that he put his
Okay.
hands on Baby Boy.
I can't remember, but I remember he was really trying to teach that boy.
Yeah, he was.
You know, he was like, give me the guns. You
Yeah,
know.
so no, that part no, it was
Yeah.
time before where
Okay.
they had got the fighting.
Over the mother, right? The way he was treating his mother,
yeah.
right?
Well,
Girl, I
no.
can't remember that movie, but
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
But we're here. We're
Right,
here.
right.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like my boyfriend should be able to tell my son stuff to help him grow as a grown man.
Right.
As a growing man.
Right.
But as far as you putting your hands on my son, definitely don't do that.
Mm-mm.
Don't ever do that. But I do want you to feel comfortable enough to give my son the best advice that you can give him.
And you know what? The question was, do you think step-parent is harder than being a parent?
It is.
And you say yes, and I agree. Because I just feel as a biological parent, a parent, with your own children, your DNA is going through them.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, your parents, your children are, they're like you.
Yeah, and
Oh my God.
You know you crazy as hell.
Okay, my daughter, oh my God.
Yeah.
Everybody always say you, and before my mother passed, she said, I'm like, Mom, this don't make no sense. She said, well, who you think did it?
Mm.
I was like, but I didn't. Oh, yes, she did. That's you. I said, oh my God, she is off out of control. And then my son, my husband just like, that's you. You did that. He's acting just like you. So with
when
a
they do that,
with a step child, this is why they say that it's harder. Google said it's harder because with a step, they don't have your DNA, and they might be doing some stuff, and you're like, this is not what we do. And what are you doing? No, why are you acting this way? And you're like, okay, so you're gonna need to calm down. And they're really being who they are with
their DNA.
Pardon?
Their DNA.
With their DNA. So I agree with you. Step and so does Google. Step parents is harder, you know. So
But I think that even with you being a step parent, whether you're biological or a step, like I just had a conversation with my boyfriend the other day, and he was like, I feel like, I'm coming into your household and we're raising a young black man, and we're raising him in the world that we're raising him in. Like, the world, is so against black men. And, he was just talking about like, he was like, I was thinking about like, what can I teach him, as a black man about like our past, like as far as black people. And I was like, listen, at the end of the day, there is no manual or book as far as raising a kid. All you can do is teach them what you know and to the best of your ability. Your kids are going to
teach them what you know, teach them their history.
Exactly.
And please let them know that history
is repeating.
I was going to say that, but I was trying to keep it nice. History repeat itself. How long have we been marching talking about Black Lives Matter? Black Lives Matter. I seen a documentary that was back in, Jesus, how far? I said they were doing it back then? And we're still Black Lives Matter in 2023? Really?
Hold on. There's a senator. It's a lot been going on in Tennessee with their law enforcement in Tennessee. Recently, just last week, a Tennessee senator, there was a bill being passed. He was like, I want to add an amendment to your bill. I want to add hanging by tree to your bill. So what, sir? Like, and he's not saying, he didn't say, black people, but what? Why would you say that? But
what color was he?
Come on, don't do that. He said, I want to add to your, he said, I
want to add that to.
I don't even know what the bill was because the video when it came on was just saying, I support your bill, but I want to add an amendment, and I want to say we should add hanging by tree.
Who? Hanging who by a tree?
Right, because we ain't going.
But you know what? That
we
kind of
is
stuff,
not going.
that just makes me feel some kind of way. So I'm gonna just try to take my brain and shift it, because that's just ridiculous.
But that goes to
but the thing is, for him to even say those words,
feel comfortable.
Feel comfortable first of all, and then say it. So if you saw it, it was on national TV or somewhere.
It's viral.
So if it's viral, how is this man being able to be going out for any kind of senator or whatever you said he was in the position and say something like that, and the world is okay with it and nothing is done? Please, can we let's
so here's the thing. Here's the thing. We're moving a little bit off of what we're talking about, but it is what we're talking about, because we're talking about raising young Black kings and raising young Black people. So here's the thing. None of these issues we've never deviated from these issues. What's happened is they are allowing us to voice our opinions and they're allowing us into certain offices. And like, it's an aesthetics thing at this point, because, and so when you look at certain people of our color who have gotten into certain offices, where are they now? They're not in those offices anymore, because when they got into those offices, they realized who runs these offices and what they're going to have to sacrifice to stay in these offices. So guys, that is a conversation for another day.
Another day.
But I feel like, as far as the question, should your child be able to call their step parent mom or dad? I feel like absolutely. I feel like in the case where
they're newborns,
and that's all they know.
Yeah.
Or their
everybody
biological parent is not a part of their life.
That also, that, and well, yeah, that's true. I was gonna say, but if they all agreed as well. But if your dad is if your dad is active, there's not going to be an agreement. So I shouldn't have said that. But you were right. From birth, or if your other one is not active or he's deceased.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right. So I agree that that's cool. And it's only if the kid feels comfortable and the step parent.
Like I said, everybody's agreeing. Everybody is in agreement with it.
That's a touchy subject though, because it's so many households where it's like, there are a lot of single moms, there are a lot of single dads. So if you were to start dating somebody, you just, at the end of the day, have to make sure that your kid is comfortable.
Yeah.
And you have to make sure your partner's comfortable. And that's just all there is to it.
That is. If you have a stepchild, or you are a stepchild, and you feel that your stepfather or mother or someone is just not doing the right things, or they are just resentful because you are not, you're not their blood. There is places that you can go and well, not places you can go. There are places you can call and someone can help you with that as well. And you don't have to, you can go to a family member that you trust or someone else and talk to them about it and see what they can do to help you with that. But to just grow up and be very uncomfortable throughout your life with a step parent and they're doing something that is not appropriate or not good, please go to someone and get some help. Just don't live your life like that and just be just afraid and feel like it's normal, because if you're not comfortable and happy, that's not good. It's not, I'm not going to say it's not normal either, because you're not supposed to be unhappy in your house,
right?
So. And
not only that, it's like, make sure that everybody is comfortable, because I think that in a lot of households, let's say you're the mom and you and the biological dad are not together. I think that in that type of case, depending on the breakup, the biological dad is not going to be comfortable with any situation. Vice versa, the biological mom is not going to be comfortable. But that's only in the case where they still want you. Okay.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, so if everybody's comfortable, it will be so cohesive, and it will be so, people are missing the point. The point is the children. Do what's best for your kid.
Bottom line.
And everything will be good from there moving on. Like, whether even if the person that you're with, a step parent, they're not permanent, and y'all break up and you decide to get back with the dad, guess what? That's even more of a great thing for your kid. Think about your children. Like, y'all be making adult decisions about what adults need to be doing. No, make adult decisions about your children.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that is it. And we just want you to know that we are going to put some things up to let you know, a number. So if you feel that you are not being, raised properly or treated fairly because of being a stepchild or vice or whatever, you could call this number and they could help you, or you just have somebody to talk to, and maybe give you some advice. But I hope that everyone out there, that's wishful thinking, because everyone is a big guess. But I'm hoping that most of us with step parents will just treat us like children and help us grow. And with that said, we're going to end our podcast. But thank you so much for tuning in. And like always, feel the rumble and
listen to the roar. We'll see you guys next week.
Yes. And don't forget to subscribe and like our page. Thank you for tuning in, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.